All right, we just finished practice number 10 last Thursday before Easter. Got in number 9, had a great practice there. I guess, would you have Brandy Bates come talk to you after that day? Somebody? Coach Bell did that day. So, but we had, good practice then. Had another good one today. We're out in full pads. Obviously, you guys saw the beginning. We'll go out in shells on Thursday, and then we'll strap it up for a good scrimmage, which should be the best one of the year on Saturday. At Acrisure. Got some great stuff in today, both sides of the ball. Worked a 4-minute at the end of the game. At the end, the offense won the 4-minute drill, which they leaked the clock out, milked the whole thing down, so we didn't get a 2-minute to go with it. But it was ones-on-ones. It was good to see our offense get in an actual huddle and just learn how to eat up the clock. Had a critical 3rd and 7 where defense jumped off sides, gave them a 3rd and 3, and then they got the first down, and the drill's over. So great job by the offense there. Had a great red zone lockout period where we go down to red zone, put the ball on the 11-yard line, and let them play ball. Defense won that drill. I think it was like 24 plays inside the 11-yard line, unless there was a sack. But again, our guys are swinging and competing, going back and forth, and you see a lot of good things. You just see improvement. Especially in the offense, just with the newness of what we're doing and how we're doing it, and you see big plays being made every day. So, questions?
Nate and Cade both talked last week about how Nate needs to know what Cade is thinking. He needs to understand what Cade wants. When you hear those two talk, when you observe conversations, do you get the sense that, can you see it, that Nate is kind of really thinking the way Cade thinks?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that takes time too. I don't know if Nate can think just like Cade. Nate will be our offensive coordinator here in a couple of years. But I think the more time they spend together, the more you get that, Chris. I think there's a lot of things flying around out there. The guy sitting under the center compared to the guy standing on the sideline, trying to think alike. It's always better to have the marker last and be able to blow the whistle and say, hey, you should have done this. Why were you thinking that way? I was thinking this way. So, again, there's a lot of learning experiences out there, and the only way you can learn is by, success and failures. So.
They talked about maybe taking too many shots sometimes. Things like that. You do better at taking what's there in the defense. How have you seen him balance that? Because you want your QB to be aggressive sometimes, but always reading still defense.
Yeah. I mean, you want to take those completions. I mean, when you talk about playing fast ball, playing fast tempo, those balls will be there. I think Coach Bell does a great job at, trying to teach them to take what they're giving you. And, you guys heard me say that for the last 10 years, as far as just, everybody would like to have the deep ball, but we want completions and keep the drive going. And again, completions, knowing where to go with the ball quicker and put it where we can, catch it and run is a good thing. Those, again, they call it a 50-50 ball, but most of the time I've been around, those deep balls are maybe 20%. I can go through the last 18 years of football and show you that it's, probably averages like 13 or 14% if I added every year up in the last 18 years. So, as a defensive guy, you like people taking shots because usually they're going to fall incomplete.
Some college coaches, and maybe even yourself, keep the spring game a little bit vanilla. So this scrimmage coming up this Saturday, even more important than the spring game?
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, the spring game will be on the ACC network, and nothing you guys haven't heard. We'll do our draft. We didn't do last year, so get ready for the draft. We'll do a draft here. We'll come back to that. Kids want to do it. They're asking to do it. It's more fun that way. So the spring game will be a fun scrimmage. I don't want to show everything we're doing because we got some new stuff in, obviously, and on both sides of the ball. So we'll just kind of keep it a little bit vanilla, let them go play ball. Won't be as fun, but at least our guys will get out there and play a game. But this scrimmage, these inter-squad scrimmages, when it's ones-on-ones, those are, again, we want the guys to go out next week. They're still getting graded on how they execute and how they block and how they tackle and do they make plays. But, you won't have, all your arsenal in offensively or defensively.
Coach, looking at the defensive line, there's some doubts. How do you see the team grow, and that position be growing during practice so far?
Yeah, without watching the tape today, I'll go back to last Thursday's. I see our guys attacking a little bit more. Different voice in there. I just see, just more aggressive up front. We're knocking people back, and that's something I love to see. I really like what we're doing up front. Again, sometimes, I say change is good. Charlie Partridge is a great coach. You don't get any better, but hearing a different voice, a different way. You know, I see our guys coming off the ball, and you know, it's a different different style of what we're doing. We're just more aggressive, and there's penetration in eyes and hands, and I just like the aggression. And again, I can feel it sitting back there in the pocket.
What's Daion's role in that, and how has he done from a leadership standpoint?
He's done a great job. You know, he's grown up a little bit. He's still a young child as he walked in the back door with his ugly smile. But he's still a kid at heart. But he loves to play the game. He's playing hard, and I think you guys can ask him some Coach Dallas questions. But again, I just see more consistency out of him. You know, there's the highs and lows sometimes in his game, and I want to see those highs all the time for him to be a elite player in the ACC.
There's nobody on your roster right now that last year got more than 4 sacks, whereas like the 4 years before that you guys had multiple guys with 7+ sacks. Is there an added pressure for Daion or for other guys to, like, hey, we need someone to be the guy that gets the quarterback?
No question about it. We know sacks are important, and we didn't get many last year, but we saw so much more run than we saw pass. When you're in a tight game, I mean, even if you're down by 7, we're getting run at us. Nobody was being aggressive. They're just like, hey, if they can't score on offense, we'll just grind it out and run it. So that hurt us as far as getting sacks last year, I think. I think if we can be more explosive on offense, play complementary football, offense scores more, and we can get up by 14 on someone, that the sacks will come. But it's hard to get sacks when they're handing the ball off to the tailback.
But is there also any like technical standpoint for you, like hey, Kalijah could do so many different things in where he lined up versus where you see some of the guys that you have this year, like hey, we need to see more of you guys win these one-on-one matchups to create. No question.
You like them to win those one-on-ones. And transitioning from the run to the pass is hard. I mean, if you're constantly seeing run, and even when it's 3rd and 7, they're running the ball against you, because they're like, hey, let's gain 4 and go for it, and whatever it may be. I mean, you get into these what we call sequencing periods. So it just makes it harder there. You're not getting a chance to pin your ears back and go. But there's certainly when there's a pass, you'd like to win that one. But when it's 100% pass, that makes it easier than when you haven't stopped the run and you need to stop the run.
I didn't know inside. That could be a permanent move.
Yeah, it's a permanent move. He's permanently there. He'll never move back to defensive end. He's doing a nice job. He's got that that cancy ability to be twitchy at the 3 technique, and he's got a chance to be pretty good in there. We like what we see a lot, and he's just going to keep getting better. If we can get him to keep his thigh boards in, and he goes out to practice without his thigh boards in, Jerry, not good. Get a thigh bruise, you'd be sitting on the bench.
But obviously a new offense with new tempo, new O-line coach. You mentioned the aggression from the D-line. How's the offensive line holding up?
You know what, I think they look pretty good. We gave a little pressure off the edge, which I haven't seen the last few days. Just giving some pressure in the red zone in a couple periods. But I thought the offensive line is improved as well. I mean, you think about some of the young guys we had a year ago. They've grown up, and they got another year under the belt. And Coach Darvo's done a heck of a job, I think, of coaching those guys up. We're coming off the ball in the run game as well. So some good stuff to see, especially in that 4-minute drill today when we, the defense knows we're going to run the ball. Defense had 4 timeouts, and they couldn't stop really the run. So that's a tribute to our offense in the run game.
When Matt Lack transferred from Kansas State, he said he was excited about the opportunity to play with this kind of defensive scheme, a 4-man front where he could maybe make more of an impact off the edge. Is he doing? What have you seen from him this spring?
Yeah, it's a great question. Maybe again for Daion. I'll let Daion follow up on there. Just about his teammates. But Nate Matlock's done a nice job. He's twitchy. He's what we thought we'd get out of the portal. We're fired up. He's here, and he's going to make some plays today. He was whining today. I didn't get him a sack, but I think he had a couple sacks today for sure. He can create off the edge. He's a great addition.
What has Narduzzi added to your running back room, and especially since he played through this offense with Coach Bell?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the recall of what he did and all that stuff, and he came in a little banged up. But the last few days, you go back to Thursday's practice, he popped a run, took it about 85, matter of fact, in the coming out period. So he took it like 80. He jumped in the end zone, so it really wasn't a touchdown because he jumped before he got to the goal line. Cost him 15 yards and no touchdown, but he's explosive. He's a guy that can take it to the house. If he finds a hole, he can go. He's got different wheels than anybody back there. So, the good thing about that running back room is there's different guys have different tools. I mean, Derek Davis had, a nice Thursday, I'm assuming a nice Tuesday today. But, seen some nice things out of him. Saw him step up and block an A-gap with Brandon George humming down down his throat, and he anchored that thing down really well. So he's been good in pass protection for a guy, that's, half the size of my podium, but about the size of my podium.
How you penalize if they jump into the end zone and not run through?
Say it again?
You penalize them if they
Oh,
don't,
yeah.
if they
He didn't
jump
get
in?
that touchdown. Heck, yeah. Yeah. And again, he's having fun in practice, but it'll cost you.
You often talk about the thinking speed of the quarterbacks in this new offense and try to process it. But how about also like the center position, the offensive line, how fast do they have to think, call out adjustments, recognize what defenses are doing, and that being a part of that? Who have you seen kind of lead the charge of that from your players in establishment?
Well, Terrence Moore, obviously, and Lyndon Cooper, I mean, those guys, but all 5 of them up front have to make those calls, and they got to make it quick. Again, we're a little bit different on defense. As fast as they're going, we're going to give you different looks. They'll see a lot more vanilla look when they get to the season, I would imagine. But we'll prepare them, as well as anybody, just with all the different stuff they have to get at, in a fast tempo. But we're more multiple, I think, than anybody that will play all year, I believe. And again, when they get to the 3-4 stuff, maybe they'll see different movement there. But they've done a nice job so far.
Have you seen the Jimmy Morrison type of guy where like you get the first guy into the offensive line and set the tone for everyone else, or has it kind of been a collective effort to grasp this new offense?
I think it's a collective effort. They've all been in, but like I said, I think it's Branson Taylor be the guy that's leading the show right now. I think he's still leading, but we'll find out when the fall gets here.
What has Sean Fitzsimmons shown you this spring?
Sean's had a great spring so far. Coming out of 10, he's made all 10. He's been healthy. That was kind of one of his issues last year. He could never get healthy with that ankle. But Sean's had a really, he's had a good camp. I think, did he talk last week? Yeah. So I put him in here for a reason. And Sean's he's been productive. He's sound. He's coachable. He does everything the way you're supposed to do it.
Final one, anyone? Coach, thank you.